The last few weeks have seen a massive move in Ethereum. It's gone from the lows of around $1,700 third week of July to currently trade above 3,200. So are we going to see now the start of a move back to those all-time highs from mid-May, or is actually this a false breakout from the sideways range and the risk is it's going to fall back? I thought it was worth looking at Ethereum considering the move that we've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. It really has been fairly relentless. You can see there's only a couple of red candles in that run off those lows from July the 20th. So I thought let's take a look at it in more depth. So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit more about what's been going on with Ethereum, the levels to watch, then we'll come back onto the platform and see if there's a trade to do. Should we jump on board this trend and see if it's going to push higher? We do have a trade running at the moment. So the existing trade in Ethereum is from the 8th of June. So it's been running a couple of months, buying in at 2,500. The stop on that trade was down at 1,650. So I think perhaps there's an adjustment that needs to be done to that trade. But there could be another opportunity as well. So I'll talk about it for a bit now, then we'll come back and look at things in a bit more detail. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought we'd do an update on Ethereum given some of the moves that you saw there over recent weeks. Is it finally breaking out of this sideways range? We'll explore all of this in this video and see where the opportunity might be. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. It means we can continue to push out lots of different content on the markets that we cover throughout the week. And of course, every Friday at 2:30 UK time, I run a live stream direct from our YouTube channel where we look at a whole host of different markets in real time. If you're subscribed with the alarm bell notification clicked, you get notification off YouTube just as we're about to go live. Right, let's get into it and take a look at Ethereum in a bit more detail. So just as a quick recap, launched in 2015, it's an open source blockchain-based platform used for its own cryptocurrency. Up until mid-May of this year, it had been a good year for the cryptos, some great performance. But in May, we saw that big crash. We saw the price of Ethereum crash fairly quickly, actually. It fell by about 60% from its all-time high in mid-May. And it didn't take a couple of weeks to even lose that. So crashed back to levels it was back in March of this year. There were a few reasons behind this. We saw, it was across the whole crypto space, this sell-off. And I think it was fueled by concerns of something of a step back that we were seeing in the wider acceptance of cryptocurrencies. For example, we saw increased regulation and a clampdown by authorities in China. So there was a fair bit of bad news fueling this sell-off for Ethereum and others. But we know it's never dull in the world of cryptocurrencies for too long. And since that sell-off over the last few weeks, we've seen an 80% rally off the July lows. It really is a heck of a move. And it's pushed back now to where it was, I think, in mid-May. We're still well off the all-time highs, but a massive recovery in Ethereum over recent months. Perhaps part of this recovery has been fueled by the hard fork we've had for Ethereum earlier this month. This removes a certain amount of Ethereum from the network every time a transaction is processed. But I think we've also seen a shift in sentiment towards cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin has put in a strong performance as well. So is this breakout from the recent trading range the sign of a new trend, and we're going to go back and target those all-time highs from mid-May, or is it something of a false break? Let's look at the levels to watch, then we'll jump onto the platform and see what the opportunity might be. So the next immediate hurdle for me on the upside comes in just above 3,500, the highs from the 18th of May. On the downside, various support levels left on the way up. The most immediate one fairly recently, just below 2,900 over the last few days. But as usual, to put some color on these numbers, let's jump back onto the platform, take a look at the charts and see if there's a trade to do. So let's take a look at this and see where the opportunity could be. So I thought let's start off with a moving average. So moving average, great in trending markets, not so good when markets are going sideways. The last signal we had off the moving average was a buy signal down here the 23rd of July, as the price moved through around $2,000, that sort of area. And given the rate of acceleration of the price, it hasn't come close to crossing that moving average. At the moment, 20-day moving average is sitting around 2,600. So it would take a fall through there to suggest, from a moving average point of view, that the trend was reversing. If we take a look at the RSI down here, it didn't quite go oversold on that low on the 20th of July, but it did hit an extreme and almost went oversold. At the moment, it's been overbought. It's been overbought since the end of July. This is the 10-day RSI. And as I often say, when we get strong trends, it's not unusual to see the RSI move to an extreme, and it stayed extreme all the way up here. So I don't know how much weight to give to the RSI at the moment. I mean, clearly, it's very overbought, but the market has continued pushing higher, even though the RSI has been so extreme up here. It's not unusual to see this sort of thing. So I think when it comes to stacking up a trade, we might take a look at the shorter term. But let's just take a look at the price action. So if we start off on the daily chart, I mean, we had these lows hit in that sell-off, 23rd of May low, down around 1720. It did have a couple of probes through down to 1690 in June, and then again July the 20th down to 1700 again. So 1700 ended up being pretty solid support for Ethereum. Since then, the price has moved away. We had these old highs, this whole band really from around 2,900 through to 3,000, had been something of a problem for the price in late May and early June. We've gone soaring away through that. So we have broken out from this sideways range and broken some big levels on the way up. The only question, as usual, is if you think this is a new trend forming, what do we do? Do we wait for a pullback, try and get in at a better price, or do we just jump in now and hope the market continues higher? I think what I want to do is think about where the stop loss goes. So I want to buy into this trend, but I want to think about, first of all, where's the stop going to go, and do I place an order? Let's flip this over to an hourly chart. So there's the trend off the lows. Great trend, higher highs, higher lows, all the usual stuff. When it comes to placing an order or comes to placing a stop loss, personally, for me, the closest I would want it would be the other side of 3,000, which is only the low from a couple of days ago, hit late in the day. So that's one area for a stop loss. Another area would be the other side of these lows here. So from the 7th of August and again on the 9th of August, that's coming in around 28.50. So that's still about $400 away from where we are now. But of course, cryptos are a volatile market, and we need to give them a bit of room to move around. So what I might do for a stop is think about placing it the other side of this low here. So the 6th of August low, perhaps I go 2,600 to make it easy. So 2,600 is going to be the stop. Give the market a bit of wiggle room, the other side of that trend line as well. And when it comes to buying in, I'm going to leave an order to buy. Let's say I put my order somewhere in the middle of the recent trading range. So we'll go 3,100 for an order. So assuming we could see some volatility, we could see the price push back a bit from here, buy in at 3,100 with a stop at 2.6. Let's set that trade up. So I'm ready to go. The price at the moment is 3,230. I don't want to buy there. I'm going to buy 0.7 if the price gets back to 3,100. And if that order gets filled, put a stop loss at 2,600. And you can see that on the chart there. You can see those levels highlighted, where I'm looking to buy and where my stop's going to go if the order's filled. That's for our usual risk of around £250, the risk that we always have on these trades during these videos. That's it, I'm ready to go. Let's send the order in. We'll place that limit order so it will sit there at 3,100, and we'll see if it gets filled. And I think for me, if we do start breaking down through these old support levels, I think the risk is perhaps for a deeper sell-off. So for me, 2,600 is a good place for the stop. If we broke below there, it does start to look as if that trend, that latest trend, is perhaps in a little bit of trouble. So we have that existing position where I bought in at 2,500. with the stop initially at 1650. Let me move that stop to break even for now. So I've updated that stop to 2,500. So I've got a risk-free position on the existing trade. We'll see if the market moves higher. I'll look to move the stop. If I check my orders, there's the order I just placed, buying 0.7 at 3,100. The market's currently 3,230. We'll see if that order gets filled. It's clearly had a massive run since those July lows. We'll see if it can continue. It is perhaps a little bit overheated at the moment. I think there's a reasonable chance of that 3-1 order getting filled. Let's watch it and come back to it in the weeks ahead and see what happens. That's it for this update in Ethereum. We'll come back to it as the month goes on and see if it can build on this latest breakout. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.